Hello. I thought I would share something that I'm working on just for myself, for personal growth, helping me with the Marseille Tarot, and I'm calling it the Marseille Sketch Project for myself. So what I've done is I have the major arcana that I'm working with, and this is the professional edition of the Marseille Tarot. I liked it because it was nice and big, and it's sort of it's basically a convert, you know, the go-to Marseille. So I scanned and copied with the corresponding Rider-Waite, and for me, I'm just identifying differences in the pictures, you know, first off, and then I'm going back to the Marseille and comparing the Marseille deck to several other ones. So I have the Jodorowsky, the Camoin deck. So what I'm doing is just sketching it, doing a brief trace, and then I'm taking that away, and then I'm pulling in elements from this deck. Like, for instance, this one, there's that ball there, sort of a yin-yang ball almost, or a wave. It's missing on this one, but it exists there. We have the same there. I'm not really looking at color. I'm looking at the lines. There's this thing in the hat here, and that seems to exist there. The crosses on the hands of the two are there. We have one missing, two are there. And then I'm looking at the Pinceau Marseille. So here it's the same, but we're missing a hand here. Or there is a hand, it's sort of, there it is. It's just blue, it's missing sort of, it's not coming out properly. Let's see, we have the papal crown, pretty much is the same across there. There's no ball there. And then my favorite, the Noble. I do love the Noble. Here we have all four hands present. There's a hat there, obvious hat. The hat is missing. Here we don't, that's the same. Two fingers, and then we have the crook, which of course was, you know, it's just not the cross. And we have a canopy behind it, which exists in the Camoin, but not the Convert or the Pinceau. And we have the triple crown, but it's not very fancy. So what I'm doing is just identifying these, looking at it, and kind of synthesizing them myself, and asking a question to myself: why is it here and why is it not in someone else or else? So here's one that I'm almost done with. This is the Emperor. So I traced him, and I'm using tracing paper to kind of help me work with it a little bit better. So I'm going in order. The Empress. I'm paying attention to the hair, the facial features especially, because it really does give a deck its personality. You know, the Noble is so rough, it almost is like a Budapest, but the Camoin is very refined. If you can call Marseille refined, and you know, it has its own quirks. So here's the Magician, and the Camoin deck is one that I've really noticed significant things I'd like to incorporate. So here we have really motley colors, and we have pretty much the same stuff here. I've kind of copied it. We're missing a pair of die, well, a die. We have this satchel here, which is kind of strange. It's a knife on the Convert, but it's a kind of a horn curl. He's holding the ball, but if you notice, and this is something I found, which is why I'm doing that, this sort of project for myself. In a lot of decks, it's very difficult to see. Let me try the Noble. There he is. So Since the Noble is not as refined, it's missing some things. So one of the things I noticed is there's a hidden sort of sleight of hand gesture going on, and it's hidden right here. And there you can see it. It's the same color of the as the clothes, but it's rounded like a ball that's secreted there, sort of hidden. It's missing there, but it is there. So some have left it off, some have left it there, and so I've put it there, and I made note of that. So tracing, as I was tracing things, I was like, whoa, I never noticed that before. This hidden sort of sleight of hand, and there's different takes on the magician as the conjurer, as the illusionist, as the gatekeeper, etc. So just things like that. And I love the Noble. The little rod is very phallic. I think the Noble is meant to, it has sort of a cheekiness to it, especially the notorious fool with his genitals, his little dingling, which sort of is here, which interesting if you examine it. The red tip is an exposed glands from most people during this time were uncircumcised, so the red tip would be like the tip of the red, or like an animal, or tip of a cat's penis. And here you can see there's the two ridges. The foreskin has been retracted, almost like it's an erection. Here it's sort of dangling, so it's not much of an erection. So it's kind of interesting to see that. So notice how the phallic translation here from the Noble has been lost to just a rod. So things like that I'm kind of having fun with, and just kind of doing this for myself, to help myself with Marseille, since it's something I'm interested in. But I love the whole history of all the different woodblock prints, and how things were lost and gained and all. But I just thought I'd share because I think it's interesting. So the decks I'm looking at are the Marseille Tarot from L'Escarabeo, which is like a universal Marseille, like a conver, the Ponceau, the Noble, and the Camoin Jodorowsky Tarot. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you, so thanks for listening.